Hello, in this session I'm going to demonstrate the use of the Parasoft C test to auto-generate unit test cases and to execute these auto-generated unit test cases all in the command line. So we will not be launching the IDE in this demonstration. See, this is going to be important when in the DevOps workflow that does not have no need to launch the IDE because all of it are automated. So we're going to use this example project here. The first thing that we're going to do is to generate the PDF file. So first, let me check the path of where I installed the Parasoft tool. So you can see that I installed it here and I'm using the 2023 edition. And to generate the PDF file, I'm gonna use the cpptestcli. And then I'm gonna specify the project name. You don't need to specify the project name, but in this demo, I'm going to specify it into a different name to explain more things on it later on. So I will name this as, in this example, ABC. And then the last command here would be the command that you use to build your project, which is make. So under normal condition in your development, you are only gonna need to type make. But if you wanted to use the Parasoft tool, you're going to prefix whatever is your build command. You're going to prefix that with this part here. So if I press enter here, it is going to build an executable because we typed the usual build command. And it is going also to generate a PDF file. So let me switch over to my get bash shell just because it has a VI utility. So here we are on the same project that we work on the DOS shell. So let me open to the PDF file and it would look like this. Notice carefully the project name, which is ABC, and then the current folder name, which is test spreads. Okay. Usually, the use of the Parasoft C tool involves an IDE, which is an Eclipse-based development IDE. As in most of Eclipse, it requires a workspace that is associated to a project. So right now, we don't have a workspace for this project yet. The next thing that we're going to do here is to create a new workspace for this project. We're going to use the cpptestcli to do that, and then we're going to tell it where the PDF is. And then we're going to decide the location of that workspace. So any location will do. So first I'm going to go to the root of drive F and notice that there's no ABC folder over here. So I'm going to specify ABC because that folder is going to be created for the workspace of this project. Usually if you skip the minus data, then the tool is going to assume that the workspace is in your home path location. But usually there's a need to adjust this Eclipse workspace path. So I'm going to press enter now. And just as when you're using with the IDE, an Eclipse workspace is now auto-generated here, containing the necessary housekeeping. So the next thing that we're going to do is to auto-generate unit test cases. So I'm going to do that by, again, specifying the resource path and the config this time. And since this is a built-in rule, the correct rule name for that is generate unit test. Okay. There is also a command line operation to retrieve all of these rules. I just memorized that. For this one, it is generate unit test. So if I'm going to enter here, it is going to auto-generate test cases for all of the 13 C and C++ source code we have here. And once that's done, we will notice that in the resource folder, we can see these auto-generated test files for every file in our project. However, sometimes we only want to auto-generate unit tests for one file. First, let me delete this test folder in the workspace location. And this time, I'm going to rerun the auto generation of the unit test only for one file. And that is the time where you specify the resource. And then the first string that you're going to type here is the project name, which is ABC, / followed by the current folder name, which is testprods. And you can see now why I made the two name identifiers different to clearly explain what are you typing here. Usually, the folder name and the project name are the same, and it's hard to distinguish which is which. So by changing the project name, we're actually seeing now that you first have to type the project name followed by the folder name. And then the file of interest would be the last here. So in this particular invocation, we are only auto-generating unit test cases for one file, which is main.cpp. And if we check again in what is auto-generated, this time we see that it's only for this one file main.cpp, whereas a minute ago we are auto-generating unit test cases for all files of the project. So the last part here is to run the auto-generated test cases. So to do that, you're gonna change the config from generate to run and press enter. So it's going to build an instrumented executable and then auto execute that instrumented executable to generate two very important test generation artifacts, and I'm referring to the tlog and the cliog files. So you're going to tell, or usually when you work with the IDE is already aware of the location of these tlog and the cliog, and as a result, you will be seeing in your IDE the coverage report of the unit test execution. If we go back to the resource workspace here, we can see that this executable have been built. So these are instrumented executable of our project that contains the execution of the auto-generated unit test, specifically here only for the main.cpp file. Now let me go back over here, and I will go back to the part where I generate the unit test like this. If I do not specify the minus data argument here, and I'm going to request the command line to generate unit test for this project, it's going to default to the home user here. And because we did not set up this workspace yet, so this command here that we're typing is basically doing nothing. So total files 0. So if we check over here in our C users, user 1 workspace, we can see that this path here is not properly set up workspace. So that is why you need the first step is to create the Eclipse workspace using the BDF command argument. So let me go back to my history here. And here we specify the Eclipse workspace to be in drive F. But in the event that we're skipping this command argument and we're just typing it like this, so it's gonna default to its default location in the drive C of your computer. And see here. So this is it. And I hope that I'm able to explain this, especially this part here, when usually you use the resource argument, and this is the most confusing, how to correctly format this stuff here. First, you specify the project name. Second, the current folder name. And the last is the specific file. Well, if you only specify the project name, then it's gonna take everything of the project as is, but if you're interested only in one file, then you're going to specify it like this. And this is all for now, and I hope that it increased our understanding of how to use the tool over the command line. Today we discussed how to create the Eclipse workspace, generate unit tests, execute test cases, everything in the command